Good morning and welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. Today we're going to go out and learn a little bit more about measuring and how it works into budgets. Well, you're going to say we talked last time about measuring. What more can we talk about? Well, have you ever had a property where the geometric measurements were not exactly correct? Have you had a slope like mine? How do you measure a slope, especially if there's a lot of plants on it for mulch? So we're going to get into that today, and I hope you enjoy yourself and get ready for another adventure. So before we get into the video today, what I'd like you to do is look up at the top and see where I have linked my playlist for my other design videos. You can watch the last video I did about measurements, and you can watch a little bit more about the design process. If you like these videos, please share them with your friends. Go ahead, like and subscribe, and work along with me while you do a design, and hopefully we're going to have one that we can start putting together possibly this year. So let's get ready to measure uneven areas. Now, this is not going to be a video about math. All of you can go out and figure out how to measure geometric areas, but I'm going to put on the screen the formula I use for measuring mulch. So you just get the area, which is length times width. You multiply it by the number of inches. For example, let's say you want 3 inches, you divide 3 by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. Example, 4 inches is 0.33. Then you divide all of that by 27. Then you get cubic yards, which is the measurement that most nurseries use when they sell sod and when they sell mulch. So if you have any questions about that, go find your favorite friend who does math well. I usually ask my son. If you have a perfectly geometric yard, it's easy. You can just do length times width. But what if you have, for example, an area like I have back here? We have it curving and sloping and doing all sorts of weird things in weird directions. If you could find a perfect triangle, you can measure for a triangle. You can measure, squares all the way through it. You could do circles. But I'm going to show you the method that I use. So what I'm going to do is I will measure the length, because there's a nice straight line on the length. And then I will go take at least 4 measurements on the width, because they're going to be different everywhere I measure. So let me show you how I came up with calculations for the sod in my side yard, and then I will convert that also to mulch. Sod will be in square feet, mulch will be in cubic yards, because I do not sell mulch in cubic feet, and it has a depth to it, so it is cubic feet. So let's start. The length was 27 feet. We're going to multiply that by the average length that I came up with. So when I did my measurements, I had 13 feet plus 14 feet plus 15 feet plus 18. So if you add all those together, 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 18, that equals 60. So we have 60 feet there. Divide that by the number of times that I did the measurement, which is 4 divided by 4. So we have 15 as our average width. So 27 times 15 is going to be the area. 27 times 15. Now, if you can't follow this math, ask somebody else, because this is not a math show. But we're just going to get this taken care of. So what we have is 405 square feet. If you were doing sod, if you were measuring for sod, this will be all you need to do, because sod is just a flat surface. It's just that you're just covering the area. But if you're doing mulch, you have a depth, so that makes it cubic. So to make it cubic, and pardon my mathese, I make up my own languages. What you need to do is you need to figure out first, how many inches do you want your sod to be? Your mulch to be. How many inches of mulch do you want? So I always want 3 or 4 inches. You can go up to 6, but what you need to do is divide the number of inches into 12 so you can get a decimal. So let's say it's 4 inches divided by 12 feet. I'm sorry, it's not feet, by 12 inches. So 4 divided by 12, that's 0.33. There's your decimal. So you take your area, which is square feet, and multiply that by the inches in a decimal form. So we times 405. We're going to get 135 cubic feet. But have you ever tried to buy mulch in cubic feet? No, we have not ever tried to buy mulch in cubic feet because they don't sell it that way. So we're going to take this, so this 135 cubic feet, and we're going to divide that by 27. 135 divided by 27, it's 4.9. So we're just going to round it up to 5 cubic yards of mulch. So I hope you followed that. Once again, it's length times width. We'll get the area, which is square feet, which is enough for sod. You have to add the depth for mulch. So you get the depth in a percentage point, multiply that by your square feet. The percentage point is inches, however many number of inches divided by 12. So if you wanted 12 inches of mulch, it would just be a 1, right? So then you get your cubic feet. To get a cubic yard, you divide everything by 27. So it would take 5 cubic yards to cover my side yard in mulch. So now you can see how easy that is to get the cubic yards you need for mulch or the area you need for grass. Now what about this hillside to the back of me? So this hillside here has a slope going down this way, a slope going up this way, and a very large number of plants. I can't even really walk along that slope. So what can I do to measure it? Well, what I think I will do is I am going to actually use the measurements that I found last week using Google Maps. Google Maps is accurate enough that it shouldn't make too big of a difference. Now, what about all the plants? Do I just go in and measure between all the plants? No, that's going to be too hard. So what I do is after I figure out the area, the length times width times depth that I want to have, then I go through and say, okay, how much of this slope, what percentage of this slope is covered in vegetation? So if I'm going to be completely honest, and you understand that mulch does go under some plants, I would say this is about 85 to 95% vegetation. So I multiply the cubic yards that I have. Let's multiply it by the 85%. And that's the number that you would get for the number of yards you need for mulch. Now, for sod, don't put sod on hills, please. Don't put sod in heavily vegetated areas. Just put them in nice open areas. That way it's easy to measure, easy to irrigate, and easy to maintain. So as you can see, it's not that hard to measure your property for the amount of sod you might need or the amount of mulch you might need, even if you have irregularly shaped areas or vegetated sloped hills like I have. So go out, try it yourself. I challenge you to, even if there's snow on the ground, as you can see, I could measure with my wheel. If you have a real tape measure, you can be doing this outside. It's not that bad, it's beautiful. So go out and measure your property so you can accurately budget for your next landscape project, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.